My gosh, it looks brutal.
Emma joins us now, because Oti, of course, we hear from on Sundays.
Yep.
So we've had Oti's side of this
What did
on
she
a
say?
Sunday. Well, most of which is not broadcast.
No, I imagine.
Love, stroke, hate. This was tough. And you said, actually, I'll do a challenge, but I need to be challenged.
Yeah, I did. So when I heard about it, they said, you will be trekking in Scotland in the Cairn Gorms. And I was like, is that hard enough? So I was lulled into a false sense of security. And then I got there and it was much, much harder than I really gave it credit for, because they do Arctic training up there. So it's freezing cold, it's snowing, 110 mile per hour winds, -5 to -10.
Oh, my God.
Temperature. We were like, oh, it's just a walk in Scotland. And then we got there and it was something very different.
Yeah.
Because you're relatively new to hiking. I think you'd been on an expedition for a week in September and went, I quite like this.
Yeah.
But that sort of lulled you into a bit of a false sense of security.
100%. I did a 5-day trek in Scotland before, but we had a base camp. We got kind of shuttled to where we start, then we would walk for the day, and then we'd come back, and then they'd take us back to the camp, and we had a tent and food and showers and toilets. And this was literally back to basics.
Yeah.
And it's a big range as well. So it wasn't, we didn't just climb one mountain and then came down. We started in one town. We kind of traversed a whole mountain range, going up and down and round. And then we got to the summit, which is when it kind of all went a little bit wrong.
Well, even before that, you had to change your route because the weather was nearly abandoned.
Yeah, so on the night of day 2, we got to our campsite and we pitched up and the winds were kind of really whipping up. We were walking and we were like, is this the wind we've been warned about? You know, the kind of, like, really, like, 40, 50 mile per hour winds.
Yeah.
They were like, no, this is 15. What? They were like, it's about 15, 20 miles per hour. And throughout the night, Rylan actually, he explains it the best. He said, when he woke up in the night, it was like you were on a tarmac and there was plane engines, like, spinning. That was kind of the loudness of the wind and the sound that you could hear. So that morning we woke up when we were meant to reach the summit that day, and they said, we can't go. Like, it's 110 mile per hour on the top, and it's
too dangerous.
To life, so you can't go.
And of course, for you guys, you're just like, devastated, because you've trained for this, you've come all this way.
Yeah.
But they did find a way of doing it.
We did, eventually. So we had to go... After day 2, we woke up the morning of day 3 and we had to go back the way we came. We all kind of reconvened. They had a massive meeting and they said, we can attempt the summit tomorrow if the weather stays as it's predicted for tomorrow, but we have to approach from a different direction.
Different way.
So we just kind of...
Well, you're ending up, you know, you've got crampons, got ice axes, the whole thing. Suddenly it is really quite brutal. And you do get to know your fellow climbers, hikers, very well. So tell us about Rylan and Oti.
Well, you both know them very well, right?
Yeah.
They were possibly... I mean, on paper, probably not the 2 most perfect people to go trekking with, but they turned out to be the 2 most perfect people to go trekking with.
So nice.
They were absolutely fantastic. Rylan, I mean, he has never done anything like it. He has never camped in that respect in his life before. And Oti hates the cold, and she does not even touch the snow. So to take them into those conditions was... I think people really underestimated them as well. They thought they would really struggle. But Rylan moaned in the best possible way, but just turned into Mr. Mountain Man. Like, he could just achieve and was capable of anything. He was brilliant.
And the thing is, no matter how tough it was or how tough it got, of course, in the back of your head, it's the reason that you're all there doing it.
Yeah. And that was the thing, I think, when we all kind of realised how difficult it was going to be. There were times when we were like, what are we doing? Especially at the beginning, on day 1, when we finally put our packs on, which we'd never felt before, 20k on your back, carrying it constantly.
Yeah.
We were a bit like, can we actually carry this for that many days?
Yeah.
But then you think about the people that the money raised helps. I'd visited a project the week before called Street Life in Blackpool, met a load of young people who get helped by the project, and that is what keeps you going. It's what makes you put one foot in front of the other. And
do you have any idea how much you've raised, or are you saving that for the actual...
I don't know. It's one of those things where you're like, have we raised anything?
Oh,
I'm sure you have.
The donations were flooding in at the time.
Well, that's good. I hope so. I mean, anything. You know, it's hard times for everybody. So no matter what we raise, as long as there's something.
So has this started a new sort of streak of endeavour in you? Would you do some more?
Yeah,
Where are you going to go next then?
I don't know. Do you want to send me somewhere?
Would you like to do it? Would you like to do more?
Yeah, I kind of said at the beginning of this year, I want to... I've built up this scaffolding around me of fear and anxiety. Yeah. And I just want to get rid of it all.
Fear of what? And anxiety
I don't know.
Of what?
I think I've just got to an age where I'm...
do you know what? It is getting
fearful.
Older. I said to Phil yesterday when I was on that podium, when I was strapped in on Dancing Ice, my leg just went jelly.
But you've always been like that.
Not as bad as that. Definitely not as bad as that.
You were better than the year before. You were nearly crying the year before. So at least you didn't cry this time.
You're getting rid of those fears.
I know.
Well, maybe you should both go on a challenge.
Go on a challenge.
I mean, I loved climbing mountains. I really did. I enjoyed it.
You should climb a mountain.
Come on, let's climb a mountain, Holly.
Every mountain.
Yeah, not an Alp and not in a meadow.
In a dress.
Let's go skiing.
Yes.
There we go. We'll climb.
That's not a challenge.
No, anything. I'm just like, life is for living. We only get one shot, don't we? So let's try and do what we
Emma,
can.
Oti and Rylan's Big Red Nose Day Challenge is on BBC One and iPlayer on the week of the 13th of March.
14th of March it's on.
It's on the 14th?
On the 14th.
That's new information.
At 9 p.m.
Perfect. Much more accurate.
Thank you very much.